We're back to the Granite State, beautiful rolling hills here in Loudon, New Hampshire, and we've been talking a little bit about the New England flavor and the different drivers. We have to obviously look back on one of the New England best NASCAR drivers, and that's Ron Bouchard. Ron Bouchard got his win in the Cup Series in Talladega back in 1981. He was the 81 Cup Rookie of the Year, and Ron Bouchard actually lost his battle with cancer in December. He was 67 years old out of Pittsburgh, Maine. Ron Bouchard, one of the greats.
Yeah, great driver, great talent, but one of the nicest people you'd ever run across, too.
That was Mass. He was Pittsburgh, Massachusetts. And Austin Dillon, who was the fastest to start this practice, and they were working on the strategy of qualifying runs. They wanted to do just short runs, trying to find as much speed as they could. Has dropped to 6th fastest on the chart right now. Carl Edwards, who's run 22 laps, is the fastest. Denny Hamlin second position at 8 laps that he has run.
And nothing is more disappointing or disheartening as a crew chief when you come and say, tell your driver, listen, I got a plan. We're going to start the qualifying trim. We're going to focus on qualifying trim. And then with about 20 minutes left of practice, all those guys in race trim swap over and they start beating you on the time chart because now they have race experience and are faster than you in qualifying trim. All you've done is qualifying runs and you're not where you need to be. But you don't know that because you don't know how you would have performed if you tried to only run, or excuse me, if you tried to run both race and qualifying sessions.
I have a question for you. You run across, there are certain drivers that you wanted to get into race trim. Why would people want to be in race trim? I know I always like this is to me was a rhythm track. I like to be able to go out and understand the track and get a feel for it more versus coming here and trying to go wide open. So did you find that you changed that because of your driver maybe?
Well, I think Jimmy Johnson's a perfect example. Jimmy Johnson and Chad Canals will show up in qualifying trim 90% of the time because Jimmy feels he qualifies better focusing on that. Dale Earnhardt Jr., when I was crew chief for him, he wanted to show up in race trim because he felt while he knows New Hampshire and has been here a bunch, he wanted to get some laps under his belt and could give us better feedback. But the limited amount of tires is really the story because if you show up in race trim and you burn up that set of tires is gone. So with a limited amount for all of practice, it's a different approach. It's really, what you said, DJ, is really a driver crew chief sort of a pairing.
5 sets for practice and qualifying and 7 sets for the race for what they have on tires. Well, more on the 48, let's go to Kelly Stapps.
Jimmy Johnson and his 48 team trying to turn things around. They've had 3 DNFs in the last 5 races, and the 6-time champions saying, yeah, it's been a tough stretch, I should say. This sport is tough and humbling. It's also a sport of compromise. After a run out there, Jimmy said that he had a better platform for entry, but that it was loose late off turn 2, and here's how his crew chief, Chad Canals, responded.
It's probably going to be one or the other there for the short term, but I can decide which one. I'll treat this loose late off the field. I would consider that crossway to destiny you threw at me earlier. But then again, I don't know what tires, how much you're pulling off. That's the problem.
So trying to make some compromise, but find the best setup for these conditions here in New Hampshire, Dave.
And Kelly, on the exact opposite spectrum for the races lately anyway, Brad Keselowski, 2 straight wins for Team Penske and on a roll. So far this session, back to the driver preference conversation. His is to go out in qualifying trim, especially when you know the weather is going to be good tomorrow for the 2 55-minute practice sessions. So that's when they'll work on race trim. Qualifying later today. Brad, so far with the car, not exactly where he wants it to be. Only 13th on the board after Q trim runs all during this session, guys.
Thanks, Dave. And you think about it, it was his teammate, Joey Logano, who was the last one to win 3 consecutive races in a row. So we'll see if Brad Keselowski can equal that feat on Sunday.